Good Friday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Jobu and Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods here on this finally freaking Friday. Man, we have gone through another week. Is it just me, or the weeks just seem like they're flying by here? Here it is. We're already in April. Do you realize in less than 2 weeks, the Dallas Cowboys players will start working out? That's right. I mean, working out like it's OTAs. There's already the captain's workouts and things where Dak Prescott is throwing twice a week. D-Law is throwing those weights around. 30 of the players are working out at the facilities, and this may actually be one of the advantages that the Dallas Cowboys have, because last year we had more off-season participation than any other team in the league. Any other team. A lot of teams have to actually put in bonuses for workouts because the players don't live in the cities that they play in. We got to give you a little extra something to make you come through for the voluntary workouts. But anyway, you know, I'm old. And I say that not as a derogatory statement on myself. I say that because I'm proud of the fact that I'm still here and of the things that I've seen in life that shape everything that I do. And the thing about the past is when you don't learn from the past, you are destined to repeat in the future. You're probably like, here we go again, Mark talking too much. But see, the problems for the Dallas Cowboys, the solutions are right there in the past. And here's the problem for the Cowboys right now. Shout out to
Damn, Gina.
To Damn Gina. She just shared with me article. Pete Prisco from CBS Sports has proposed a trade. Okay, now again, this isn't the Cowboys. This is just conjecture. Somebody saying, hey, Cowboys have a needed receiver. Here's how we can make this work. The Cowboys trade with the Steelers, their pick, and a fourth and a fifth round, and they'll get this receiver and stuff, and that'll fix the holes. Okay, that's not going to happen because Cowboys aren't going to give up that much for a wide receiver. They're just not. Not a first round and a cup. No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that because that's going to hamstring our ability to take care of other needs. And see, what's happened and what I realized last night is the Dallas Cowboys have lost their way of the innovations. See, the Cowboys, the reason why I'm a Cowboy fan today, I could point back to my father, and he could point to the reasons why he was a Dallas Cowboy fan was for two reasons. One, it's in the 60s. All the NFL teams had integrated starting in 1948, except for the Washington football team. George Preston Marshall basically said, I'm never going to have a black player on this team. So they ended up turning off the spigot in that talent. And two, Bob Bullet Hayes. My dad loved Bob Bullet Hayes, and when the Cowboys got him, that was the guy he wanted to root for. And see, this is what the Dallas Cowboys used to do. They were innovators. They went to small black colleges and they found players. They found Bob Bullet Hayes was a track star. And all of this came full circle and reminded me with Rayfield Wright's passing last night. So you have to understand, Rayfield Wright was actually a basketball player. Rayfield Wright, in college, his college coach had him stop working this off-season job and start teaching him football. He played free safety. He played punter. He played tight end. And the Cowboys drafted him. Well, the first 2 years of his career wasn't good. He was behind the bench of Neely, who was a perennial right tackle who was great. But Neely got hurt. And Rayfield Wright goes in for Neely. In his very first game, very first game, he's going against Deacon Jones. I know a lot of you young people have no idea who I'm talking about. But Deacon Jones, let me give you a perspective because, see, now we have statistics on everything, but they used to not keep statistics like they do now. In fact, Deacon Jones is the reason why we have the term sack. It was coined after him. Deacon Jones, they say, in a 14-game season had 29 sacks, but because they didn't officially keep the stats, it's not in the books. Deacon Jones developed the head slap, which is outlawed these days, because if you think what Will Smith did to Chris Rock was bad, multiply that by about 50, because Deacon Jones would come up and he would clock your head. And where your head goes, your body goes on the offensive lineman. He would head slap you, bitch slap you, whatever you want to call you. He would be like, move it, get out my way, on his way to the quarterback's behind. Rayfield Wright has his very first game start against that guy. He does so well against Deacon Jones, he became a starter. 6 All-Pros, 5 Super Bowls. He was the Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunately, people don't care about offensive linemen. But he was an amazing, amazing player. And this is where, when I heard last night, I got the text message that he had passed, I got chills, because as I look at players, I go to autograph signing shows and things, and I love seeing the old players. Unfortunately, a lot of them aren't doing good. Charles Haley, we played football together at JMU. He's 2 years older than me. And I remember being at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and I was able to videotape a lot of stuff and asking Charles, because we used to play a lot of spades, because Charles was, look, at JMU, you were always doing something. If it wasn't football practice and lifting weights and all that, right? You were shooting basketball. We were up at the student union playing video games or shooting pool, or, you're in somebody's suite playing spades, or you're at a party, but you're constantly going. Oh, we went to class too from time to time. I forgot we did go to class from time to time, okay? But I remember saying to Charles, who's only 58, Charles, you still play spades and stuff? And Charles basically said, man, I don't do much anything anymore. Just don't do much anything. Multiple back surgeries, 2 knee joint replacements. The toll that these players have put onto their body is unbelievable. But here's the thing. I remember seeing Charlie Waters, and Charlie Waters, I don't think I'll ever get the chance to again, is one of the football gods up here that I would love to be able to get to sign this. But when I saw him about 3 or 4 years ago, it seemed like his health was not good then. And Cliff Harris had him for his induction speech, which was recorded. A lot of the players are truly messed up. But Rayfield Wright, he was the last one I worried about. Guys, this was August.
How are you doing today? Oh, look, hold on. Look at that. We are doing great. Look at that. Boom. I didn't have a ring to pump with, but,
Sorry, it don't matter. Okay.
Rayfield, you look so great. Now, see, I'm 56 years old.
I'm saying the same.
Well, I tell you what, you look like you got better build and everything than I do, and I know I'm a few years younger because I watched you as a kid.
Don't tell Jerry that.
So, Jerry Jones. Oh, man. It is great.
He did not act like a man 76 years old. So back to the Cowboys. Here lies the problem for the Cowboys. Instead of being innovators, and I have to look, I've said this for years about Jason Garrett. you couldn't say, aha, that's a Jason Garrett wrinkle right there. That's something that Jason Garrett does for the Cowboys. You can't. I ask you, for the last 25 years, what is something that the Dallas Cowboys do that nobody else does? What innovations do they have other than let's sign players that are injured? That's the only thing I can say that is truly the Dallas Cowboys innovation. Instead of being able to go find players elsewhere, they find players that are injured. That's it. Michael Gallup, he's got a torn ACL. He's a priority. Let's sign him. And yet you have a guy, Cedric Wilson, who you look at his numbers and his repertoire with Dak Prescott, his catch percentage, yards per completion, and hell, his arm. And you should have said, Cedric Wilson, keeping that guy should be a priority. But instead, you decide, Michael Gallup, we got to get him. And he might not be ready for the first 2 or 3 games, which means in Cowboys terminology, you know how we're always told that black people, we always show up late for a party? I mean, okay, I know that sounds racist, but that's what look, E2 Blue. My man E2 Blue, we call him E2 Late because he always shows up late. You know, if you've got an event, you got to tell E2 that's going to start 2 hours early so he gets here on time. That's just the way it is. You know that's the case. And you know when the Dallas Cowboys say it's going to be a 4-week injury, it's going to be 8 weeks. So when the Cowboys tell you, Michael Gallup's probably not going to be ready for the first, 2 or 3 games, you know it's going to be mid-season before he gets here. So you decide he's a priority, sign him. You let a guy who not only can catch the football and had better numbers than Michael Gallup, who also is the second best quarterback in the division, who, if he's in the backfield, teams have to respect, are they going to pitch it to him and he's going to throw it? To give the defense something else to think about. Instead of saying that's an innovation that we can use, no, we're going to get rid of that. And now they're in reaction mode. We're calling Miami about a receiver. We're calling the Texans about making a trade. We're getting articles written by Pete Prisco about the Cowboys trading the 24 pick for a wide receiver. It's not innovations anymore. The only thing that Stephen Jones cares about is the cap. We can't pay this guy. And that's why we're not winning. See, the Dallas Cowboys used to be the innovators. They took a Randy White, who was a linebacker who, as a rookie, was not doing good. They decided, we're going to come up with a different defensive look. We're going to do this flex defense. We're going to get Randy White off the ball in the flex. Knowing that he's got linebacker instincts, he can see the traffic that's going on, and he can make moves, and he becomes a Hall of Famer. We take a guy who was a basketball player, and we make him a Hall of Fame tackle. We take a track star, and we make him one of the best receivers in the Cowboys' history as a Hall of Famer. We come up with the shift. And see, people don't understand the shift that the Cowboys did. We did this in high school, at my high school, even though, we were in the Washington, D.C. area, even though we had Richie Pettibone's son on our football team. That was the defense coordinator for the Redskins. We did the shift where you step up, rock back, and go down. But most people don't know what you did was you actually shifted over to the left or to the right a few inches. Because let's say I'm the guard. I played right guard and left guard. But let's say I'm the guard and the ball's coming right here in the one hole. When you shift, you cheat over 3 or 4 inches, 5 inches. Because the ball's coming over here. The defender, he's lined up on your nose. He's shifting with you. It would give you just a little bit of an extra edge, a little bit of extra room to be able to run the football. That's an innovation. The shotgun, giving the quarterback more time back there to survey the field to throw the football. That's an innovation. Cowboys haven't innovated anything in forever. And herein lies the problem. When you look at the Dallas Cowboys offense this past year, yes, we were number 1 in yardage and scoring and everything else. We did everything good, but what did we do great? What was the Dallas Cowboys' bread and butter? What was the thing that we said, you know what? We're going to run that until they stop it. We didn't have anything. We were literally a jack of all trades and a master of none. And that, my friends, is the problem. Right now, the Dallas Cowboys are behind everybody else that realizes the new way you end up building a team. They're trying to play catch up, and they're over their heads. Other teams are innovating ways of making sure they're not in cap hell. They're making ways of getting talented players with experience by manipulating the cap. All we do is say we can't afford it, and we go cheap. And right now the Cowboys are looking for a cheap solution when there is no cheap solution at wide receivers. The reality is, right now, the way things are going, Amari Cooper's deal is actually the new cheap deals. As Tyreek Hill gets 30, and now we got Deebo Samuel's having the hissy fit where he's basically deleted all of his information because he wants a new deal. All these receivers want a new deal. And here it is, the Cowboys are saying, Cedric Wilson, $7 million, that's too much money. And until they change this, we're not going to win the Super Bowl. And I'm sorry if it's doom and gloom, but it's the reality of it. I don't want to lie to you and say everything's hunky-dory. If the Cowboys win, it's purely because Will McClay is just better at drafting players than anybody else. And it'll be dumb luck. It's not because there was a plan. There is no plan. It's only reacting to what happens. Instead of saying we have to get Randy Gregory's deal done before free agency, we go ahead and we try and bid against somebody else because we don't know how to do a deal. So, with this video is getting kind of long, and I know I've probably lost a lot of people, but Rayfield Wright situation just slapped me in the face. And I think about the retired players, the former players, because I had a drop the mic moment in my life. If I die tomorrow, I'm okay because I got to do this. In 2013, my idol growing up, Roger Staubach, we were at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. United Way was doing PSAs with Roger Staubach and Franco Harris. My wife, of course, was in charge of it, and she was like, look, this is my job. I don't know if I can get you to meet Roger Staubach or anything like that, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, that's okay. I said, it's cool. I'm just happy to be going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But in the end, I did get to meet Roger Staubach. In fact, the jersey over there, my wife got signed by him. Not only did I get to meet him, I was in there talking to him and saying, when you had your real estate company in Northern Virginia, we used to cater for you. And he signed a print, Best Wishes, Roger Staubach, that I've had since, I think, 87. Cherish it. And here it is, I'm talking to finally Roger Staubach for the very first time. And my wife says to him, Roger, what are you doing now? He's like, well, I came over from the hotel with a friend. I got to find him so I can get a ride back. And she's like, you're Roger Staubach. You just can't go walking around the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You'll get mugged, because he literally did get mugged. When we took him from the autograph booth to the building, I can honestly say I blocked for Roger Staubach because I literally pushed people out the way, getting him into the hall from the autograph tent outside. My wife said, Mark, can you get the car and take Roger Staubach to the hotel? But I will never, ever forget sitting there. I opened the door for the back for him to get in the back. He's like, man, I sit up front, man. It was like a regular guy. And as we're leaving and all these people are waving and cheering and snapping pictures and stuff, Roger Staubach says to me, it's just great to be remembered. And I look at him like, the fuck? What are you talking about? You're Roger Staubach. Nobody's going to forget you. But I understood what it meant because when I went back, there were so many of these Hall of Fame players that people have no idea who they were or what they did. The sacrifices that they made for these guys to be able to make that buku money, and they're forgotten. And so I've been working on something with my buddy Dale Thompson, and I'm actually very, very proud about this. And I'm going to go ahead and announce this morning because I have a heavy heart about Rayfield Wright and stuff, and thinking about all of these former players, that great players that you guys have no clue about what they did. Dale Thompson is with the Pro Athletes Hemp Association, and they do work with the Retired Pro Football Players Association and the retired players, because a lot of the players are messed up from what they ended up going through for football. And of course, you know, I love weed. He'll probably be the one to testify that the different hemp oils and creams, salves, and everything else are very beneficial to people dealing with pain and agony. And with the Pro Athletes Hemp Association, they make donations to the retired NFL players, a lot of which are in bad shape. And so I am going to be partnering up with them to work with them. And I'm very, very proud about that. I'll have more details about that maybe tonight during our live stream. Shout out to my man DMV, because DMV is the one who turned me on to this organization and stuff. And the more that you know, the better that you do. And I'm proud to say that I'm going to be part of this. And this will hopefully make a difference in the lives of some of the great football players out there. And I'm going to end this morning's show with the Pro Football Hall of Fame's tribute to Rayfield Wright.
Hall of Famer Rayfield Wright passed away. Big Cat was enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2006. It was not just his toughness that made him a Hall of Famer. It was his consistency and longevity as well. For 13 seasons, Wright played in over 200 games and was the captain for the offensive line that finished top 10 in scoring each season of the 1970s, while helping the first 5 rushers reach 1,000 yards in a season. But Rayfield's most powerful reach was how he closed his enshrinement speech.
And to my mother, Mrs. Oprah Wright, from the day I was born, you are my rose garden. You watered each day with your love, with your faith, and with your prayers. Your roots are deeply instilled in me. And your soul is so beautiful. In spite of all the painful thorns that life has put in your way.
Also, speaking to the parents and young athletes of today.
Now, parents, teach your children well. Encourage them with your faith and leadership. Remember that you are the windows through which your children see this world. Take notice of yourself and the things that you do in hopes that your example will stir their hearts and souls. To every young athlete within the sound of my voice, it takes courage to dream your dream. Don't let them sit in the locker room. Take a leap of faith. Listen to your parents and respect your elders. Learn from your successes and your losses. Defeat as possible and as a challenge to do better next time. Be satisfied you gave the game everything that you had. And remember this: And don't be afraid to travel the road less traveled.
Rest in peace, Big Cat. Rest in peace. As always, friends, I want to thank you all for watching. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?